Alright, so most people think getting tipped on TaskRabbit comes down to just doing a good job, and that's far from the truth. I've been doing it for a year, and after assembling furniture, mounting TVs, overall handyman work, when it comes to getting tips, I'm starting to notice a pattern. And once I change a few simple habits, I start getting tipped way more often. So in this video, I'll show you exactly what I did to get the tips rolling in. Hey, I'm Kenny. If you're looking to grow on TaskRabbit, Thumbtack, or even AirTasker, you're in the right place. Let's jump right into the first tip. Tip number 1, bring contractor bags. Now, the first thing I started to do was bring contractor bags with me to every larger assembly job. You can bring regular trash bags too if you want. Those can help with the process as well. I typically carry my toolbox and my tool book bag with me when I go on these jobs, so I'll just roll a few of the bags up and throw it in there to make sure I keep some on deck. Now, I know you're probably thinking, why am I spending my own money on these trash bags if my goal is to make money? And like they always say, sometimes you got to spend money to make money. And that's just how it is. The bags I buy are about $12 from Walmart. And for me, it's been well worth the investment. Now, you already know when assembling furniture, what happens as soon as you open those boxes? Foam goes everywhere. Plastic wrapping just start piling up. Before you know it, your workspace is a mess. Now, what I like to do is just clean up as I go. As I'm unpacking each piece, I'm throwing away that trash just directly into the contractor bag. It keeps my work area organized and lets me focus on the assembly. And trust me, the customers definitely notice it. But from the customer's perspective, we definitely want to leave it clean. We don't want to leave any of our mess behind. I like to leave it just like how I found it. And that's even if it was dirty when I got there, at least I didn't add any trash to it. As you can see from the reviews, they stated that he cleaned up his work area, he was respectful of our space, and he even made sure he cleaned up after he finished the job. Tip number 2, bring moving blankets. Another habit I started to make was bringing moving blankets with me to every job. Believe it or not, I didn't always use them. It all started one day. I was assembling an IKEA cabinet that had glass doors. It was in the customer's bedroom. They had beautiful hardwood floors, and I didn't feel comfortable laying that glass panel down directly on the floor. And I definitely didn't want to lay it on their bed. So the customer kind of caught me looking crazy, trying to figure out where to lay it. And then he was like, hey, I have some moving blankets in the garage that I could use. And it worked out perfectly. So that day going forward, I was like, I'm gonna just go ahead and buy me some moving blankets and make sure I bring it with me everywhere I go. So when you bring moving blankets, they see that you're taking care of that furniture, you're taking care of that home, then they're going to take care of you in return. They help out in other ways too. So one way that I like to use the moving blankets is if I'm working on carpet and I don't necessarily need the moving blankets like that to protect the furniture, what I like to do is I'll lay it out on the bed or lay it out on a couch. That way I have more space to work with when I'm laying out all the pieces. So if I'm running out of space on the floor or I'm trying to stay a little bit more organized, I'll lay the moving blanket on their bed or their couch to show them like, hey, I respect your furniture. I'm going to put this moving blanket right here, and then I'm going to lay these pieces and tools out on it. So that way when I'm done, I just lift the blanket up and keep it moving. One of my favorite ways to use the moving blankets is when I'm building dressers. Dressers are some of the most tedious jobs when it comes to assembling furniture, more specifically the drawers part. So a lot of times I will build the dresser first and do the drawers last. So once I build a dresser, I'll lay the moving blanket on top of the dresser to protect that surface from getting scratched, and I will assemble the drawers on top of the dresser, kind of like using it as a workbench. It helps prevent the scratches, of course, but it also saves my back from bending over or sitting down on the floor. Sometimes when I just stand up and I'm using the dresser as a workbench, putting those drawers together, putting those little brackets on, helps me a whole lot when using those moving blankets. Another way that the moving blankets come in handy is doing the outdoor jobs. So you got to do outdoor patio furniture, gazebos, sheds, whatever being outside, it'll definitely come in handy. Not only will it protect the parts that you need to put together, but it can also protect your tools from the elements outside and scuffing up on the concrete or being out in the dirty grass. It help out in many ways. Another way I like to use it, sometimes I'll lay the blanket out and I'll sit on the blanket, and it's way more comfortable sitting on the blanket than being on the concrete or in the grass like that. So you can use it that way as well. And lastly, if you are mounting TVs, the blankets will come in handy that way. So sometimes when you take that TV out the box It comes with the cardboard and things like that for the most part, but sometimes people don't have it straight out the box. What you want to do is lay that blanket down, fold it up a little bit, and lay the TV screen on top of the blanket. That way, a protected TV screen while you do everything else. So they notice things, little things like that, and when they see that you taking care of them, protecting their investment, then they're gonna want to invest in you. And a lot of times, like I said before, repeat customers. Tip number 3, break down the boxes. Now, technically, we're not required to break down any boxes or haul away any trash. Now, keep in mind, if you're working at an apartment complex, I'll usually offer to break down the boxes and throw everything away on my way out. Most apartment complexes have a dumpster near the exit, so it's only a couple minutes extra for you to just break down the boxes, dump it on the way out. That's why I get majority of my tips from people who live in apartment complexes. They hate having to take their trash to the dumpster. I remember as a kid, me and my homeboy, we used to go around the apartment knocking on people's doors, asking them if they're willing to pay us to take their trash to the dumpster. And a lot of times they'll throw a couple dollars at us, we'll rack up a bunch of money, walk to the gas station, buy some snack. Kids definitely can't do that these days. Times are a little different now. So if I'm at a house, it's a little different. I don't always take the boxes with me. I'm not going to act like I always do it. But in certain areas, for me, in my county, we have a recycling center that take boxes for free. So if the job location is in that area, sometimes I'll offer to take the boxes with me. I even told the customer one time about the recycling center and told him it wasn't too far from him. But he was like, how about I just pay you to dump it for me? So he threw me about 40 bucks. I loaded it up and I was passing by there anyway on the way home. So it worked out for the both of us. Customers have told me plenty of times that taskers have assembled the furniture and just left. Nothing's wrong with that. But when you take a little extra time, leave the space clean, take a little headache off their plate, people notice that. And I found that those small little details lead to better reviews, more tips, and repeat customers. I can't stress that enough. Repeat customers. That's way more important than tips. When you get those repeat customers, that's where the money start rolling in, because they order one thing off Amazon, then you got another thing coming next week. And then they give you a phone call. Hey, I need you to come back out. I have compared the days where I did do these things and when I didn't. And the days that I did, I gained way more tips and reviews from happy customers. These small habits create a better overall customer experience. And when they have a good experience, they'll be more inclined to leave you a good tip and leave you a review. If you have your own ideas you'd like to share, please leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Also, if you found these tips helpful, please consider subscribing, because I have plenty more ideas to share, from tools I actually use, ways to work more efficiently, and mistakes that I've made. Like I've told my son plenty of times, you want to learn from your mistakes, but it's way better to learn from other people's mistakes. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep grinding, keep learning, and pull back up at the bar, and let's chop it up.